walks up to me and she was like, you know, Ryan, I really look up to you as a Christian entrepreneur and somebody on social media. My question is, who do you look up to? And I was like, who do I look up to? I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think there is anyone that I would say that I really look up to that's like me. And then it was like God spoke to me and he was like, exactly.
All right, guys, Ryan Pineda is back. It's been about 1.5 years. Thanks for coming back, man.
It's really been that long? That's crazy.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah.
You got a few new companies since then.
Tell me about it.
Lead Kitchen, that's the newest one, right?
Yeah.
What's that about?
We're doing lead gen for real estate investors. You know, I've been running Facebook ads for my own company. I mean, I've been running Facebook ads a long time, for years, for all my companies. But, you know, I started doing marketing to sellers for homes this year, and it was very successful. And I was like, man, you know, like this is where it's at. Because I've spent so much money on leads over the years, and so many people started to ask me like, dude, how do you do it? You know, like leads are going up, cost is going up, and, you know, can you teach me? And I was like, I mean, it's a totally different business running ads and digital marketing. Just you're in real estate. You don't need to like learn this stuff. And they're like, well, can you just run the ads for me? And I was like, well, I guess. And so I did a little beta test back in like March, April. It was successful. So then we launched it like in May or June. And yeah, dude, now we're just running ads all over the country. They're my ads, my face, all over the country. They get the leads and it's going good.
Wow. So you have your own ad agency now?
Pretty much.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's like the 10th business you got too.
I know. I know. But yeah, I'm excited about this one because it's easy, you know, like we already have the ads. They're proven.
Yeah.
We just got to run them, you know, in Dallas and Denver, whatever the case is. And, you know, just teach people how to work leads, teach them sales.
A lot of people are struggling with leads right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, cost per lead, everything in every industry is going up. Attention's getting more and more expensive. So if you don't figure out how to get your lead costs down, you're not going to be profitable.
Yeah. Even organic attention's getting a lot harder too, dude.
Everything.
My views are down a lot.
Yeah,
on every platform.
Everything.
YouTube's getting crushed right now. Instagram, I think I'm shadow banned. I mean, the people I have on, so that'll do it, you know?
Yeah. And so whether it's organic, whether it's paid, everything is going up and getting harder.
Yeah. That's social media though. But I think the tough will survive this kind of, it's been like, I feel like the past few months it's been like that. Really tough, you know?
It's been going on a lot longer than that.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Because I was consistently getting 20 to 30 million accounts reached per month on Instagram. And then 2 months ago, right after the Sneeko thing, just shot down 70%. And I haven't been able to get back to 20, 30 mil. It's pretty nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if that's because of him or something, but
yeah.
Because he's banned.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Have you heard of that kid?
I've heard the name. I don't really know what he does.
Sneeko, yeah. I mean, it's part of the game. You don't really have on controversial people on your show, I noticed.
Yeah, not a ton. I don't usually want to talk to him.
Yeah. Yeah, you stay in
that. Well, it's not even that I don't want, like, I just don't even know who's crazy. You know? Like, I've had controversial people on, but, like, I'm not, like, looking for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have on, like, successful people, and for the most part, they're just doing normal businesses.
Yeah.
Who have been some recent guests for you?
Dude, you know, recently I've been doing a lot more solo podcasts. And, I mean, obviously I've interviewed a lot of people over the years, but, I've found myself wanting to do more solo stuff. It's number one, it's easier, obviously.
Yeah.
But number two, it allows me to talk about different things that I haven't been able to talk about because, you know, when you're interviewing a guest, it's usually about what they got going on. So yeah, I found myself doing more solo, but yeah, I mean, I've interviewed so many people like you, so I can't even, pretty much anyone.
Yeah, you're deep in. You're crushing it with the events though.
Yeah.
Every quarter you're having one now?
Well, we're actually scaling that back. So, you know, we were doing WealthCon every quarter for the last, you know, many years. And I'm going to go down to just a couple of big events a year. And, you know, I think less is more in many cases, even with businesses like you're mentioning. You know, I have less businesses today, but going deeper in those businesses, you know, do less big events. And, you know, when we do them even crazier than before.
Yeah, events take up a lot of bandwidth, right?
So much bandwidth for the entire team.
Right.
You don't realize it because we've been doing it for years, but then you take a step back now and I'm like, oh, wow, we're way more productive, like focusing on just, all the other things.
Yeah. No, I feel that way too. Sometimes when I film too much, I'm like, I need to take a step back and just focus on working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Events. I mean, you have a whole sales team, you got speakers.
Well, you think about what it takes to throw an event, right? I mean, on the logistical side of the event, you have the venue, you have the food, the catering, the speaker lineup, how much time they have, the atmosphere, the after parties, all those things that have to happen at the event itself. And then you have everything that leads up to the event.
Right.
You have all the sales, the marketing. I got to make all these ads. We got to spend all this money. You got to front all the expenses. You have to have an events coordinator. You've got to handle all the ticketing and the support and the check-in and the follow-ups. And, there's so much that goes with throwing an event. And, we've done it super successfully, almost better than anyone. But, you just look at the resources. Oh, and then the media side of it, the media team's got to constantly make speaker videos and trailers and all these things. And,
right.
Whenever you're focusing on something, that means you're not focusing on another thing. And so, you just start to look at what's the best use of your resources, and you got to constantly evaluate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Events are a tough game. Most events lose money,
Yeah.
Most events are trying to break even, but you're playing the long game out here, and you've crushed it at building community, especially with the Christian stuff. I've noticed. Like you've probably built the biggest Christian community in Vegas.
We'll see, and we'll see how long, how far we take it. We have Wealthy Kingdom, which is our nonprofit, and my vision over there is I want to have 1,000 small groups across the country. So, these small groups are in people's offices, entrepreneurs' homes, whatever it is, and I think we have 70 of them right now, and I think we can get to 1,000 here in the next few years. But, part of doing less, I'll just say secular events is so that I can do more Christian events too. And those are all just nonprofit stuff. So those are just out of pure purpose and passion.
Wow.
And, I'm excited for where that's going to go because, we've seen hundreds of people give their life to Christ, and, it's been, more fulfilling for me than anything.
Really? Yeah, I've noticed you've taken a big step towards that route lately.
Yeah.
Rather than just the business stuff. Was there a specific moment that caused that?
Yeah, it actually happened 2 years ago when I was at an event, my event, and this girl walks up to me and she was like, Ryan, I really look up to you as a Christian entrepreneur and somebody on social media. My question is, who do you look up to? And I was like, who do I look up to? And so I started to think about it, and I was like, well, I got a lot of pastors and people that I, really like. And, I have Christian friends and business people and stuff like that. But like, who's big on social media? Like being bold, talking about it, living it the right way. I was like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't think there is anyone that I would say that I really look up to that's like me. And then it was like God spoke to me, and he was like, exactly. And, like this phrase that's now kind of defined the ministry, just popped in my head. If not you, then who? And it's like, if not you, then who? If you don't do it, who's going to do it?
Right.
Who's going to throw these Christian business events? Who's going to, launch these Bible studies? Who's going to, create this community, like you said? Because no one else is doing it and people are craving it. So who's going to do it? And I was like, I guess I got to do it because I know how to do it. I know how to throw events. I know how to do these things. I just haven't done it. So, 2 years ago, that was the spark. And that's what then made me start throwing like worship services during WealthCon and bringing pastors and other things into a secular event. And, it's just kind of evolved the last 2 years.
Yeah, well done. You've really embraced that. Did you get pushback from incorporating the Christian stuff into the WealthCon events?
Not really. Most people kind of know where I stand anyways, just with content. And so I don't think anyone's ever surprised. And I think, and I don't even put it in the schedule anymore. Like it's just,
it's just there.
You'll just be at the event. You're like, what are they? They're bringing a band out. What's going on here? And then boom, we're just doing worship music. But I think that what I've seen is so many people walk away from WealthCon and they're like, the business and stuff, like all that stuff was great, but like I've realized there's this spiritual side that I just have been neglecting, and I never felt it until now. Wow. Like it's their first experience, being in an environment like that, and you know, a lot of people who've thought about church and everything else, they've maybe grown up like thinking it was like Catholic church and like very just structured and, you know, strict and all those things. Then they come to WealthCon and they're like rocking out and like the pastor has got a message that's very applicable to what they're going through in their business and everything. And they're like, I would go to this if this is how church is. And I'm like, this is how church is.
Really?
Like, there's plenty of churches that are just like this.
I might have to give it another chance then.
Yeah, dude.
I haven't been since I was a kid.
Well, we're going to take you to church.
Yeah, I might have to go.
Yeah, you're out here in Vegas this Sunday.
I will say the spiritual stuff is important.
Yeah.
I was atheist most of my life, but I would say I do believe in something now.
What changed for you?
I've had 3 near-death experiences, so it could have been that. My dad passed away recently, and that was kind of traumatic. Yeah, I think it was just a multitude of things, but also having these podcasts, to be honest, just having on, you know, Erwin McManus, people like that really changed my perspective on things.
Yeah, you hear just different people's journeys and stories, and
Yeah,
I think number one, I'm glad you're open now, right? 2, I think that faith is in more cases an experiential thing. You know, I think a lot of times with atheists, and you know, I don't know how hardcore you were with atheism and everything, but a lot of it is like logical based arguing, and debating, and everything else, right? And even on the logical side, I would say it actually takes more faith to believe there is no God than there is a God. You know,
interesting.
just based on a number of things. But in the end, like whenever you're just debating with logic, you're ignoring the spiritual side of things,
right?
And so, which is what God is, you know.
Yeah.
And so logic can lead you to being open to experiencing the supernatural and everything, which is where it kind of sounds like you're headed, which is great. And so now that next step is like, you know what? I don't fully understand this, but I'm just going to be open to it and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I study the top guys, and a lot of them have some sort of faith.
Yeah.
Like, there's very few top guys that are atheists, I notice. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I study the top guys, and I'm looking at their personal lives, their faith, their business, and trying to piece together things.
Yeah. I don't know many atheists that live lives that I would want to emulate.
Right. I mean, I don't know many atheists in general that are really successful, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I can't think of any.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah. But it's cool. Guys like you, Ed Milet, are really pushing this agenda. I think it's impactful.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. When Ed and I met, I had him speak at WealthCon, and I went to his house in, where were we at? Laguna Beach, I think. So I went to his house in Laguna Beach before. We filmed a podcast literally right on the beach, like
Nice.
his house on the beach. We got to know each other. And, you know, he didn't know a ton about me before that encounter, but we ended up talking about faith and other things. And he was like, bro, however I can help you on this mission, I'm game. And I'm like, all right, just know I'm gonna hold you to it. Like the moment you tell me you're in, I'm gonna get you. And so, you know, he spoke at WealthCon, our friendship developed more and more. And then I was like, hey, I'm gonna throw this big Christian event called the Kingdom Summit. It was here in Vegas. And, you know, I want you to speak. And I was like, and I can't pay you your fee, you know?
$150K, right?
Yeah, I'm like, so, you know, it's all nonprofit. I'm literally losing money throwing this event. I lost $100,000
Wow.
throwing it because there's no sale. There's nothing to sell. I'm selling salvation.
Right.
I'm like, yo, give your life to Christ. And, you know, he came and spoke for free because he's so behind the mission and, you know, had a bunch of other, I think you've had Ruslan. Ruslan came and spoke.
That was an interesting one.
Yep. So Ruslan was at that event. Great buddy of mine. We had Girls Gone Bible. They were great. You know, a ton of people. And, you know, so he's, and I even think with Ed, he's, he even is, you know, he's been a Christian, but I think he's starting to even become more bold in his faith.
Ruslan or
Ed.
Oh, Ed.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're willing to lose money to push this.
Yeah.
That's huge, man.
That's
You
what-
really believe in it.
Yeah. I mean, like the nonprofit, I've self-funded it for the first year. You know, I mean, it cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands to
Dang.
fund the staff.
So this is like your main passion then?
I just freaking try and make money over here to go accomplish the mission.
Did you find when you reached a certain level of wealth where that fire kind of dissipated a little bit or no?
Dissipated in terms of
Like your drive, your motivation?
Yeah, I think I've always been a motivated person. And don't get me wrong, I still want to go make a boatload of money. But even when I was broke and I was a minor league baseball player, I grew up in the church. My wife and I got married early. We always wanted to make God. I used to teach Sunday school 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, like I've been doing this stuff forever. It's just now out in the open. I used to teach Sunday school. I led mission trips to build houses in Mexico. I've done, a whole bunch of things behind the scenes, bought churches and other things. And now it's just like, all right, God's given me the resources to do so much more. Resources include money. Resources include talent and skill to go throw events. Resources include relationships to go get guys like Ed and say, hey, I got this opportunity, dude. We can go make a big impact if you're willing to come. Resources with my team and my company where, they're equipped and they're behind the mission too. And so like, I think it's just more so like this momentum has been building for the last decade. And now it's just like here.
Right.
And I still think it's building. It's not even close to what it will be, hopefully, in the next 5 to 10 years.
Nice. And how do you approach the Christian stuff with your kids? Because here's the reason why it kind of scared me. Like, I felt like it was forced when I was a kid. And I felt like, every Sunday they forced me to go, and some days I didn't want to. And I kind of strived away from it. You know what I mean?
I get you. Did your parents force you to, eat your vegetables and...
They did, actually. My mom used to, she watches every episode.
Yeah.
She used to get pissed.
Yeah, what else did they force you to do? Clean your room, go to school, do things that, are good for you?
Yeah. So you think just...
So why is, I would argue why was this different than all the other things you were forced to do?
Well, don't you think it should be a choice for the kid to go?
What, am I going to leave them at home on Sunday and I'm just going and then they're home alone?
What if they don't want to go?
What if they don't want to go to school? What if they don't want to go eat their vegetables? What if they don't want to listen to my rules?
So discipline, just disciplinary style of parenting.
I just don't think it's any different than anything else that, when somebody's living in your household, especially a child, why is it any different than any of the other scenarios that we're talking about?
I get that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, if I'm giving you your money and, there's rules, if you're an employer, you have employees and they don't listen to you.
You fire them.
You get rid, now you can't get rid of your kids, right? Yeah. So what do? If you can't get rid of your kids, I mean, in extreme cases, you send them off but I've never just understood. So like for me, obviously I'm a spiritual guy with faith, but I'm also very logical and, tactical and other things. And so I have 3 kids, 5 and under, but it's like, why is one different than the other?
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like the church, to be honest, when I was growing up.
Yeah, and I get it. Yeah,
it could have been the church. It could have been a lot of different things. Could have been the teacher. Who knows? Yeah,
and I think too with faith, another thing is like, clearly you didn't have a great experience in church. And what kind of church was it, by the way?
It was Christian, but it was all Asian people. So I don't know if there's a specific branch or something.
My wife grew up in a Korean church.
Okay.
She's from Korea, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think that there's a number of reasons why people have a bad upbringing in faith. One could be the church and the environment and the pastor, and there could be scandal and, all this stuff, right? You get mistreated in the church, that happens, right? Another could be your parents, right? And I'm not saying this is what your parents did, but you see this happen a lot. Parents are telling you to do X, Y, Z, and then you look at them and they don't do it.
Right.
And it's hypocritical. And you're like, I mean, if this is what being a Christian is, why am I going to want to do this? Nobody's actually doing what they say they should be doing. What we have to be really careful of is realizing that, people are always still flawed and still are going to sin and mess up, even when, they're Christian. But that does not negate what Jesus did, who he was, how God made us and intended us to be. We just choose to screw it up. It doesn't make God bad. It doesn't make Jesus bad because we still have free will. He was loving enough to give us free will to make stupid choices.
Yeah, I was also naturally rebellious as a kid, so that played a role for sure.
So
I
probably
can acknowledge that now.
Yeah, so probably anything they wanted you to do, you probably would have been like, nah.
Yeah, I did the opposite.
Yeah,
I was in the principal's office often.
Yeah, if they were like, dude, we don't go to church, that's wrong. You're like, I'm going to hang out with my friends at church.
Yeah. No, it was definitely, I definitely played a factor in it for sure.
And it takes maturity as you get older to realize a lot of things.
Yeah. So growing up though, you went pretty religiously.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the church and went to church every Sunday. I liked it. You know, even when I went off to college and stuff, like I wasn't one of those guys that rebelled finally getting away from home.
Right.
You know, like I stayed true to my beliefs. I still, you know, did all the right things. And by no means am I perfect, but like, you know, it's just like I've lived life trying to, and I say trying because no one's ever perfect, to follow, you know, the way that God calls us to live. And now being, you know, I'm 35. So like let's say I'm halfway through my life. You know, I've had a lot of experiences in business and life, and I have kids now, and I've been married over 10 years. So like I have a lot of track record and experience of like hindsight now. And I've seen so many people live life a different way. You know, they live life, let's just say the party lifestyle, the sleeping around lifestyle, and all these things. And I've interviewed a lot of these guys and it's fine. And then I've seen people who, you know, try to follow Jesus. And then I've seen people who, I call them I always call them like the mindset guys, like they're spiritual guys. They don't subscribe to a religion. They're just ultra spiritual. Right. And in the end, as I've evaluated all these people and have seen behind the scenes, kind of similar to you just kind of look at the grand total of it all and you're like, I don't really like what their life is leading to, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like that, you know, they're still messing around trying to find the next girl and they're 40 years old. Like at what point does it, like you realize it's just this endless pursuit of nothing,
Right.
you know? And, you know, you see things like even in the Bible where it talks about it, guys like King Solomon, the wisest person ever walked the earth, you know, he had hundreds of wives and, you know, in the book of Ecclesiastes, he literally says it was all worthless.
Damn.
Like I did it all. I had more money than anyone, more women than anyone, more fame, more status, literally the best of the best the world can offer. And it was all meaningless. And that book is, you know, it'd be a great book for you to read because the whole book is talking about how meaningless life is. And if you were to read it as a Christian, you would be like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right because life's supposed to be joyful. Life is supposed to be peaceful. We're supposed to, you know, appreciate things. And he's like, it's all meaningless. None of it matters. And at the end of the book, he's like, he basically comes to this conclusion after having it all. And he's like, you know, all that really matters at the end of the day is following God and just doing what he says. He's like, that led to the most fulfillment and happiness in my life. That, to summarize.
Interesting.
And, you know, he's like, and then also too, just enjoying the normal everyday things of life. He's like, enjoy the nice weather, enjoy the sunny day, enjoy nature. Like he's like, those things, just enjoy them. That's what life's about.
Right. That's important because guys like us have such big goals and sometimes we don't take time to really enjoy the moment.
Yeah. Like I've been sitting out in my backyard the last couple of mornings because it's like perfect weather in the morning right now. Even though Vegas is super hot, like, you know, around 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It's still, there's no sun in my area and, well, it's like shaded out and stuff. So it's like 75 degrees. And dude, I just sit out there. I pray. My kids actually wake up early and they're just running around the backyard. And like, I get what he's talking about because I'm sitting back there and I'm like, wow, this is what life's about. Like, look at, I have kids.
Right.
They're just running around, having fun, enjoying life. The weather's great. I'm just outside. And then, you know, you wonder why people are so depressed just watching social media, watching, you know, comparing themselves to everyone else, like complaining about their spouse. And, you know, you just realize like, yeah, I understand why your life, you think it sucks.
Right.
Because you don't do the right things.
100%. Yeah. The stuff is nuts. It's real bad. Did you cut that out entirely?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've talked about this before. You know, growing up, I was celibate because I wanted to wait till I was married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I tried to do everything the right way. And, you know, by no means was I like perfect, like I said. But, you know, I thought once I got married, you know, go away.
Right.
you're like, oh yeah, I mean, dude, I'm going to be having sex all the time. This is going to be great. You know, so what I've been waiting for. And sure enough, you realize like it's still there.
Right.
And so I dealt with that for many years early on in my marriage. And at the end of 2017, I was in a Bible study, which is why I'm so passionate about starting small groups and Bible studies all across the country, because it changed my life. And so I'm in this Bible study with a bunch of business guys and everything else. And one of our leaders was like, hey, I want to talk, like, I've been praying and I'm going to scrap our study that we were supposed to talk about. We're going to talk about.
Wow.
And it's like, obviously a touchy subject for a lot of guys.
Right.
And he's like, we're going to break, chains today. And we're going to confess. If it's something you struggle with, you're going to share it. And, let's go. And so, I mean, it was a majority of the room.
Damn.
This is in Bible study, like myself included, as a guy who's been trying to do things the right way. And I can't break free from this thing. And so for the first time in my life, I publicly confessed, to all these men. And I was like, yep, I've been struggling with this thing. I can't break it. I feel terrible every time I do it. I feel like I'm letting my wife down. I'm letting God down. It's shameful. Like, I need to stop. And, dude, literally that night, we prayed over each other, the confession, and like I had felt something I had never felt before.
Wow.
It was like this spiritual cloud had lifted and this fog had subsided. And literally, ever since that night, I have never watched again.
7 years.
Yeah.
Congrats, man. Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
4 years in and I feel incredible.
Dude, 4 years is tough.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's tough.
and dude, like the fog, the haze, like my mind got so much more clear, and it's like, before, if you just see something on Instagram, you see some girl, you're instantly like triggered.
Right.
And now it's like that trigger is gone. You you still see the stuff and you're like, all right, I got to like not look at that. But it's not this instant thing now that it used to be where it's like, all right, like, let's see what else is going on. Okay, maybe later tonight, whatever.
Yeah, you can control it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know old friends of mine that used to, do that 3 times a day.
That's crazy.
And they would be honestly depressed because that really affects you mentally.
I don't even know how you have time 3 times a day. That's crazy. Just like, you must not have a lot going on if you got time for that.
Yeah.
Because it ain't like some 2-minute thing.
Well, some people are.
Some people are, but man, like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, man, because I've been with the same girl for 7 years. I see all my friends go down these routes of hooking up, red pill, all this stuff, and they're just mentally drained.
Well, like I've had a lot of the red pill guys on my podcast.
Yeah, you had Fresh and Fit.
Yeah, I've had them. Who else have I had? Justin Waller,
Sartain.
Yep, I've had a lot of them. Sosnick, he's like kind of, and it's funny because we talk about it, and none of them are, they all have their belief system, and it's fun. Like most of them are like, yeah, dude, people told me that you wouldn't even want us on your podcast. And I'm like, I'll talk about anything, you know, like just because we have different opinions on life doesn't mean, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I actually do want to hear what you have to say to show you another way, because you know, most red pill guys and whatever, just they live in a echo chamber, right? And so, we just talked about it and everything else. And I just don't really agree with anything they say as far as women goes, because I think like the typical red pill agenda is it's really hard for guys right now, like all these 7s are getting hit up by all these dudes from everywhere. And so now it's so hard for anyone who's not a 9-10 dude to stand out.
Right.
And I'm like, that's just not true. Like, bro, the 9-10 dudes been doing whatever they want since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Social media didn't change that.
Yeah.
If you're born good looking, you got status and money and different things, you were going to win in any era. It does not matter that social media exists. And, if you had no skills and no game and none of those things, you were going to lose back then too. Just like you'll lose, like it is what it is. And so to me, it just hasn't changed at all. Like the cream always rises to the top,
right,
in every era of life.
Yeah.
And it's just more pronounced that, you know, these guys are having struggles.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember when I was, you know, in high school and college and I wasn't hooking up with girls, I felt a lot of shame. You know, I saw all my friends getting laid or whatever. And looking back at it now, I'm glad I didn't go through that phase.
Well, and that all comes back down to identity, because I wasn't getting laid.
Right. But you were by choice.
Yeah.
That's a little...
But it's identity, though.
Right.
Right? Because if my identity's in Christ and I want to do those things, then people still made fun of me. Like, I could have easily felt shame. Like, bro, are you gay? Like, people would ask me that. Like, why aren't you sleeping around? I'm like...
Right. Yeah, because you're an athlete, D1 athlete.
Yeah. Like, I'm turning down girls all the time.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm not gay. And, you know, it's just like, at the end of the day, I didn't let other people rattle my identity. I knew who I was and why I was doing what I was doing.
Right.
And so most people who feel shame, it's an identity thing.
Yeah, I didn't know who I was. I was trying to fit in. You know, that really wasn't who I was, sleeping around like that.
Exactly. And that's what I think a lot of these men are attracted to the red pill stuff, because, you know, in men culture, it is this thing of, you know, go get girls and whatever, period. Athletics, you know, just normal frat boys, whatever the case is. And so there's very few cultures with men where it's not. Christian would be the only one.
Right.
You know, like, and so, you know, I grew up in secular culture, playing pro sports and all these things. And so, yeah, I was always in the same boat, but I just had a different perception of my identity.
So you really waited till marriage?
Yeah.
Wow. Well done, man.
Thank you.
I feel like that's a rare thing these days. To
Very
be honest.
rare.
Super rare.
Very
like,
rare.
I can't name anyone else. So well done.
It wasn't easy.
I bet not. So you were what, 25 or?
24.
24. Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Now you got how many kids?
3.
There we go.
I've had sex at least 3 times.
You want more? You good? You good?
Yeah,
at 3?
I'll have sex 4 times. Yeah. So hopefully, you know, we'll see. 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay. All daughters, right?
No, I have 2 boys and a girl.
2 boys and a girl. And
Yeah.
last time we talked about homeschooling, that went viral.
Yeah, it did.
Has your opinion on that changed?
Well, you know, my oldest, he's 5, and he has special needs, and it actually has reinforced my belief about homeschool even more, because he has special needs, and like, he doesn't even qualify for a lot of schools. Like, most private schools will not take him.
Wow.
The only school that would take him would be public, because they have to, and then he would be with, you know, like 20 kids and
Yeah. He get
one
bullied for
teacher.
sure too.
Yeah, like, it's a tough situation. And so, like, you know, homeschool is like a necessity for us even before that, you know? And so I just think homeschooling is going to become more and more popular as time goes on. I mean, you're already seeing it. Like, more and more people are doing it, especially in Christian circles. Like, Christian circles are really big on homeschooling.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Because of just like crazy worldviews at school that they're pushing on kids and everything else, you know, whether it's, you know, all the gay stuff, whether it's, you know, just weird leftist stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, it is what it is. And so most, like, not most, but many Christians, I would guess, I don't have the data to back it up, but I would guess that there's a super high percentage of the total homeschool population are Christian.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think you're seeing more even non-Christians, like entrepreneurs and stuff, realize like, dude, I don't need to be sticking my kid, you know, for 7 hours a day in this place that's gonna, like, I don't want to say brainwash them, but you know, whatever. Why can't I just teach them what I want to teach them?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you get involved with politics at all? I noticed you haven't really posted much there.
Yeah, I posted some when Trump got the assassination attempt, and, you know, I lost some followers. But I just honestly, it's weird to say, I just don't kind of care too much about politics.
Really? You don't see the effect though on you? Because
no, it for sure affects me. I just don't think I have much control over it. So it's just like, what am I going to get mad about? You know,
well, you yourself can impact millions. You know what I mean?
I don't think I can really impact who gets elected.
Like, you don't think you have a little bit of a say? Because your audience is tens of millions of people.
Yeah, but like, I mean, sure. All right. I could have a little effect. I would guess most people who follow me already are voting for Trump.
Oh, you have a very right audience?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
So, you know, it's just like, all right, guys, I'm going to vote for Trump. Cool. Like, it's, you know, like, it just is what it is. And it's funny because actually this is a funny take. So you'll probably clip this one. It's funny. When Trump had the assassination attempt, I posted about it. I was like, bro, this picture is crazy. It's like the coolest picture ever. And like one dude just took a bullet, just got up, fist in the air, like the most iconic American picture ever. And then you have this other guy who's currently the president who doesn't even know where he's at. He's like walking around like a corpse. And this guy leads the country. And it's not even like, and nobody can debate that.
Right.
It's just like two opposite ends of the spectrum. One guy just got shot and is just like rallying people right after getting shot. This other guy he literally has no idea where he's at half the time. And so people are like, well, I'd still rather have this guy. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, how could you want this guy? I don't care what you think. Like, just give me somebody who knows where they're at.
Right.
I'll take that over anybody, that this guy. So that was that. And then it was funny because so many people were defending Biden for whatever reason, right? And then, it gets announced that he's going to step down because nobody thinks he's capable of being the president.
Yeah, that debate was brutal.
Yeah, and I'm like, do you realize how bad, if you were a Biden supporter, that makes you look? Like you're defending this guy the whole time when everybody says he's like gone, so far gone. And you're like, he's not gone. He's the guy. He's our guy. And then literally everyone in the Democratic Party is like, no, like he's gone. We cannot have this guy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Like, how bad does that make your opinion look?
Terrible. But now they're just supporting Kamala, so that's the next.
But it still doesn't discount how bad their opinion's been.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't forget like that, but a lot of people do.
But, it is what it is.
Yeah. What are Christian people leaning towards from what you've seen?
Trump.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, look, you can be Christian and Democrat. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And there are plenty of Christians that support Kamala because they don't like Trump. And for, once again, for good reasons, Trump has, a crazy history.
He went at Rogan today, which I thought was a terrible move.
He what?
He went at Rogan.
Oh, he went at him?
Yeah, so Rogan said on his show that he likes RFK.
Got it.
Yesterday, and then Trump put on Truth Social today that he doesn't like him anymore and you should boo him at the next UFC event. So that's a bad enemy to pick. Patrick Bet David, choose your enemies wisely. I would not go against Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's that. Well, Trump don't give a crap. So and that's one thing people love about him. You don't have to worry about if he's like telling the truth or not. He is going to tell you literally how he feels.
Yeah,
regardless.
Can't deny that.
Yeah, and so I'd rather have somebody who's 1,000% just like straight up than somebody who's not.
Yeah.
And regardless if I agree or not. But yeah, there are Christians who don't like him just because of his antics, and rightfully so. And so, you do got to look at that and be like, all right, like he is, he's crazy, to a degree.
But he's pro real estate. And speaking of real estate, you still pretty passionate about that? Still buying properties out here?
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing a lot of wholesales and flips. I mean, like I said, that's where Lead Kitchen came from because, I've been doing this for the last decade, flipping and wholesaling. And, it's like I've had to adjust my strategy every year, really, for how we're going to get deals. And, I was running TV commercials out here for so long. And then, now we're doing the Facebook thing and it's working great. I actually think like the next year we'll probably make more than we've ever made.
Wow.
Just because we've got it really, really dialed in. And so, yeah, I'm excited about that, man.
Yeah, dude. Can't deny that. I see your ads every day.
There we go.
Killing it, dude.
So they're working.
No, you're killing it. YouTube and Facebook.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Crushing it, man. And not a lot of people can run ads successfully, so you've really developed a good system there.
Yeah, thank you.
I think at first you could run any ad and make money like 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
But now you really need a good system on the back end.
Well, you need everything to be good at ads, right? You need good creative, you need great funnels, great landing pages, great sales process, great products. So, 90+% of people who run ads will fail. Yep. Just like events. You have to be really good.
Any business.
Any business.
Even podcasting.
But, like when you're in other businesses where you don't have to run ads, like so most businesses rely on organic traffic in some way, right? Hey, let me get some referrals. Hey, let me get some affiliates. Hey, word of mouth. Hey, you know, whatever, right? So you can get away with that because you have no risk when you have that model. So, you know, whenever people, I don't do a ton of affiliates because I have my own companies that I would rather promote.
Right.
But like, you know, whenever people are like, dude, you know, just affiliate my thing and whatever. I'm like, yeah, it's easy for you to say. You didn't have to spend millions of dollars building your brand and, you know, talking about it and all this stuff. You have nothing to lose.
Right.
If I promote. Why don't you put some skin in the game if you want me to do something? You know?
I feel that. People pitch me affiliate deals all the time, and it's usually like a turn off.
They have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
Like, put some skin in the game if you want to, you know, go do something.
Right.
And that's, you know. But well, once again, right, if you're starting a business and all you do is all organic free stuff, you have nothing to lose as far as, like, I guess, time. But, like, you could still have success in business following that model because it's the least risky model.
Yeah, absolutely. When are your next events, man, and where else can people find you?
I don't know when this is going to air, so.
2 months.
2 months. Okay, so a bunch will have already passed. Dude, you know what's crazy? For as many events as we throw, they are not planned out very far. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll link below maybe all your events and
Yeah.
whenever
By the time this goes out, there's going to be some definitely events that are out there.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, man. That was fun.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, see you next time.